What up, y'all? It's the King. Just came from handling business. And here I am back, about to make another one of these ain't shit ass, nobody should listen to me or anything I say or do business with me based on the comments somebody left on my last videos. But I'ma still run my fucking mouth, so stay locked in. So what up, y'all? You know what I was thinking about? Ladies. And it's funny because that comment I spoke on is actually from a lady that I've dealt with in the past. She don't think I know, but I know because she a stalker ass dummy. But anyways, that's besides the point. I just wanted to say, I went and got tested a couple weeks ago. You know, like I'm not really having sex right now. Like that's just not what I'm doing. But in the past, I've been known to take the ladies to Pound Town, like a whole fucking lot. Like, I really feel like legit, I may have slept with, if I had to count the number, over 1,000 ladies. And I know this sounds unbelievable, right? But at the same time, it's women I've forgotten I've actually had sex with. So the number is high. Even if it's not 1,000, it's in the hundreds. I've had a lot of sexual partners. Ain't no secret, ain't no shame in my game. It is what it is. I'm willing to share it, so here's the story. But, you know, I went and got tested a couple weeks ago. And me, regardless of whether I'm having sex or not having sex, I've always been a proponent of my health. I've always had good health, great health. And, you know, knock on wood, I've never had anything major happen to me. But, you know, I went and got my test results back. You know, I don't mind. I'll show y'all the negative HIV one. That's the most major one. Hold on. Let me put it on the screen real quick. Yeah, I had to black out my business. I wasn't just going to show y'all all my shit. But, like, you know, you get tested for your urine, your syphilis, gonorrhea, all that kind of stuff. You know, they check you for all kinds of shit, right? And HIV, more importantly. And everything comes back negative and non-reactive with me like clockwork. And every 3 months, like clockwork, I wind up going. I know the ladies at the clinic I go to, shout out to them. They always treat me good, make sure everything's straight. But it got me to thinking, like, yo, sexual health is a real thing. And now that I'm more mindful of like where I'm slinging Mr. Willie at these days, like before it was like I didn't give a fuck. I would fuck 2-3 chicks at a time if that's what I was feeling. I done had plenty one night stands, girls I've met, fucked them within 5 minutes of meeting them and never talked to them again, out of town type shit, all kinds of raw sex. And I've done some crazy things, what they call it, putting your dick on the crap table. When it comes down to it, I put my dick on the crap table many a nights. And I think about the fact that I've never had anything. Like, what's the chances of that? Like, what's the chances that, like, I've gone through this life? I'm a Scorpio, and they say Scorpios are, like, very sexual, freaky. You know, I can attest that I liked a lot of sex at one point, like a lot of different women, a variety, all these cool things, right? Because women make you feel good as a man, I would think so, right? And to have different variations of them was always a thing for me at one point. Now I can't stand 2 women to talk to at once because there's just so much energy in my older age. But when I was younger, I was all for the shits. And for the most part, I've never had I'm a non-friend zone type of guy. Shout out to Vonnie, but I'm a non-friend zone type of guy. Like, I've never had to go to the friend zone when it came to a woman. I always kind of got what I wanted, if it was going to be a thing at all. You know, not to say that I've gotten every woman that I'm going after. No, because if that was the case, I'd be on some Will Chamberlain shit. Because I've definitely missed more than I've gotten as far as, like, you know, interacting with women. You know, I guess that goes with taking shots with women. But it is what it is. Another story for another day. But I think about all these different interactions that I've had with women over the years, and for me to just come back clean, it almost feels like, for a minute I thought like I was immune to things. Like maybe I'm just, because the one thing about being a Scorpio is you think about things like, damn, I might have got burnt, or I might got this, I might got that. Our brains are very dark. Scorpios out there know we have some very, very dark fucking brains. Like, we think about shit on a whole catastrophe level that don't even be that fucking bad. But I don't know, it's just how we're wired, right? But you know, it got me to thinking about some of the instances I've had. Like, I remember one time I let this crackhead, like the crackhead was, she had like a cut on, I was young, I was probably like 20. She had a cut on her arm and everything. I remember this so vividly because I picked her up off Upsall Street. This was up my way where I lived at when I was young. I picked her up, I was driving my aunt's car, and I picked her up and we drove to this little wooded area, and she sucked me off for $5. Never forget that. Never forget that. Another joint, I remember I met this girl at Powerhouse years ago. Like this same age, I'm probably like 19, 20. I met this girl, she lived in, I want to say South Philly, but maybe I'm recollecting this particular place where she lived wrong. All I know is I used to be cool with this boy back in the day, and he wound up taking me to go pick her up. And we had went back to my mom's house, and my mom used to work. I was still living with my mom, and me and her did it. And I never forget this girl. I remember we did it, and I went to pull the condom out, and she like put my hand down like I was about to open the condom, and she stopped me, and like a fool ass young boy, I did it to her. And I remember after I did it to this girl, you know, I dropped it back off, and she told me take care of myself. And I always used to think about her, like, was she trying to give me something? Like, did she have something that she was trying to like give me? She might have just been like, take care of yourself, like she was with never seeing me again too. But I always thought about the choice of words that she had. And it's just countless stories of like chick after chick after chick. Like, it's crazy because it's some chicks that I fucked multiple times that I would never not use a condom on, just to send the message that no, I don't like you. But there have been chicks that like I didn't know and will run up in them and have run up in them raw. Crazy, like don't know you from a can of paint. You seem cool on the surface, but I don't know what the fuck you into. You could have every disease in the book, and I was just diving in like dumpster diving. It was like no rat for me. I didn't care about it at all. But then I get to the point, and you know, I think about stories. Like I got this one particular instance with this girl I met. I never forget this. Me and my boys, we were either going to or coming from an Eagles game. Maybe we were going because we were downtown and we decided to ride the subway to go to the Eagles game. Maybe we were going to the Eagles game. And I wound up seeing this girl. She had a fat old ass. I never forget her, right? And it's crazy because I totally forgot her. But let me finish the story. So, you know, I like stopped for a second and I, you know, wound up talking to her. So we, you know, started talking, kicking it. And I remember it was like fast. It was almost instant. Maybe a couple days later, I'm at her crib and we fucking like full on raw. We had went out first. We actually had went out, right? And I remember she was real thick. And I remember when I went to pick her up, she had on like some shit that I was like at the time. I don't want to say it was baggy, but it was like, what the fuck you got on? And she was like, you know, usually when I go out with dudes, they be like kind of mad because I be dressing a certain way. I said, if you don't go put on some shit that, you know, like I was like on my joint, like put on what you want to put on a tight ass skirt or some tight jeans, some shit like that. So I think that did something to her. So she had went back in the, thank you. She had went back in the house, changed into whatever she changed into. We went to eat, whatever this was. And when we came back, I was dropping her back off. And we wound up fucking. And then we was just fucking. Like, every time we fucked, it was no condom involved. It just was what it was. And it's crazy because like I kind of enjoyed this girl's company for the time that we was fucking around or whatever. Can't remember how particularly long it was, but we definitely had sex quite a few times. So fast forward, maybe about, this is like 2005, 6, 7, that this was going on with me and this girl. So fast forward to maybe 2015, 2016 or somewhere around there, right? So I like to hang out in this area in my city called Manioc or whatever, right? So at the time, this particular day, I'm in Manioc, and I'm walking down the street, and it was this Mexican spot I used to hang out at. Best margaritas get you drunk off your ass, right? So I'm over there chilling. It's a summer day outside, kicking in. This might even be 2017, 2018. I don't know. I can't get the years exactly right. A lot of things are fuzzy. I'm old. Anyway, I see this girl across the street, and she's like looking at me. And that's nothing too slick when it comes to me. A girl always looking at me. I guess I'm just cute like that, or handsome, fine, or whatever they want to categorize me as. I'm flattered. But she keep looking and looking and looking, and I'm just thinking she looking, right? So eventually I walk across the street because it's like, for all the looking you doing, you might as well take a picture. So now I'm interested into what, you know, got you so intrigued with looking at me. And so she spoke, and she spoke in a way as if she knew me already. And it threw me the fuck off, but I kind of just like ignored it or whatever, chalked it up and was like, you know, well, what's your name, blah, blah, blah. She was like, you really don't remember me? Promise y'all, I'm not trying to be smart. I'm not trying to be an asshole. I'm not even that like, that's not even my character. Like, if I know you, I know you, you know, and I know a lot of people know me. But if I know you, I genuinely know who you are, right? She was like, we used to talk. And mind you, I done talked to a million chicks, right? A million of them. That ain't nothing to talk to a chick. Talk to a chick and forget who she was. I'm like, oh shit, when blah, blah, this, that, and the third. And she was like, no, we was kicking it for a while. Like, we was fucking. And I was like, and now I'm feeling like an asshole because, like, if you're, like, not lying about us fucking, how do I forget this? Especially if it ain't one time. Like, it's, you know, she explained it like we was kicking it. And this was the part of the story that really took me aback. Her father had died, right? And I remember her father died. And I went to the house to see her. And when I got there, you know, she told me her father died, blah, blah, blah. You know, I'm feeling bad for her. And then she like really trying, she was being aggressive about having sex. And I remember I was like, nah, chill. Like your pop died. Like you kind of in a vulnerable state. Let's just chill. And we chilled, and she said she never forgot that. Like she would never forget me because of that one particular thing. Forget everything else. She was just like, cause she felt like any other circumstance with, I mean, not any other circumstance, but a circumstance, that same circumstance with another guy would have went a total different way. And she always remembered me because I had handled her with care in that vulnerable moment. You know, I didn't want to be fucking on that girl. Her emotions was all crazy and blah, 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 and all that stuff. You know, this is early on. I got the wherewithal to think about these types of things. Or I had the not early on, but I had the wherewithal to think about it because, you know, she, in my mind, she wasn't in her right mind state. You know what I mean? She wasn't being her regular self. And we never did it again after that. I do remember that was like the last time I saw her. But, you know, it's kind of crazy to me that like me and this girl had this like kind of situationship that lasted for a while, whether it was a month, 2 months, however long it did, that we interacted, because I would be over her house, she would be over mine, we was fucking, we wasn't using no condoms. I was busting all in this girl's craziness. And I totally forgot she was on this earth. That's just one story of many, because I've had so many sexual encounters with women that, you know, I'm pretty sure it's plenty more. I actually met one other girl at the Roots picnic that I had sex with that I forgot existed. I don't need to get into that. I'm not trying to give every example. I'm giving these examples to say the more important thing is, fellas, for the fellas, don't be scared to go to the doctor. Even if you've been into a whole bunch of crazy bullshit like me. Like, I've done some things that maybe I should have caught something. I don't know. I'm thankful that I haven't caught anything. I'm thankful that I've gotten out unscathed, and I'm able to tell these stories about these instances I have and still have my health, right? But I've always been a person that's been preventative, and not for nothing. I wasn't always this way about my health or my sexual health. You know, it could be a scary thing, I guess. You know, especially if, you know, like us men. You know, us men are filthy when it comes to sex and women. Like we'll fucking do. I did that in the video before. Like we'll fucking do her. I fuck some shit that's just like, what were you thinking, right? But at the same time, it's better to know than not, especially like now you think about all these cases and stories of what you're hearing, and so many people catching these diseases, with people being on the down low or having all these multiple partners. You're talking about these cities like Atlanta and Houston. Things are different. I'll say that things are different now. When I was younger and in my heyday, I'm running around, as it is for the younger kids now, the younger adults now that are out here. It's kind of like a cesspool for real. And, you know, people think it was bad what I was doing. I don't really think it was that bad as opposed to what's going on now. But like, whatever you choose to do, just remember your health is the most important asset that you can have in life, because without your health, no matter what else you attain or get, you can't enjoy it without having your health. So just try to stay checked up on yourself and make sure that, you know, everything's working right and you're keeping your shit clean and all these things. Forget about the mistakes. And even if you're gonna find out something is wrong, it's better to know than to not know. So this one's for my fellas out there. Ladies too, you know what I mean? Any ladies that out there that are, the narrative more with the doctor is always with the fellas. So I talk to the fellas when it comes to this type of content that I make. But yeah, I just wanted to make this one for the fellas, tell a couple quick crazy stories about me, but more importantly, go to the doctor, y'all. Go get checked out, because you never know what's going on. You could be fucking on this girl and think she's the bee's knees, and the next door neighbor nigga could be fucking her too. And the next door neighbor could be fucking somebody else, and they could be fucking somebody. It just, the web can get crazy. So you just gotta be careful of the web. And, you know, try to be and understand this. When it comes to sex, it's good and all, but at the end of the day, after a nut, you don't really get shit out of it. And I didn't had enough of it to know it don't do nothing absolutely special. It just just bring you a bunch of headaches, you know what I mean? Or people that, you know, are bitter about what they thought things were versus what they are. All kinds of shit that comes from it that, you know, and, you know, even when you talk about babies are over fucking rated too. So just be careful when having babies and all that stuff. And just, you know, be mindful of what you do when it comes to these ladies, y'all. Because, you know, and ladies with the fellas as well, when it comes to sex. Because sex is all fun until it ain't. So, that being said, I'm going to drink my tea. I'm going to keep it moving. But nah, y'all, it's another one. Stay tapped in. And I'll see you on the next one. Peace.